Alright, so when you're ready then.
Alright, let's do this.
Let's go.
3, 2, 1, go. Hello, I am Kipples, and I'm playing Donkey Kong Country 2 Any%. And with me, I'm joined by Just Your Average Dave.
Hello.
Who'll be joining me for commentary.
I'll do my best.
Can you come to the main exit desk, please?
So the main thing to know right now is that in the first two worlds, every level will have a built-in warp that we'll be using, unless it is considered too slow, like right here.
What? Yeah. Everyone knows this.
So that was the example of a wrong warp. And the wrong warp works because every sprite in the game has an ID value. So when we pick up a beetle, for example, we are holding an ID value, and then we need to get the game to unload that sprite from the game, and we accomplish this by doing what's called a beetle clash, and this will kill the beetle, but still let us be holding the ID value that the beetle once had. This will let us load something else into that ID's place, allowing us to corrupt the memory of that object, allowing us to beat levels really quickly.
So up right now is the first boss, Creepy, this Crow. He is very RNG heavy. These first two eggs that he's going to drop are always going to be real, but after this phase, he's going to slam into the crow's nest and he'll spawn either real or fake eggs, and he can spawn fakes forever. And this is where most 80% runs go to die. Before they've even started, really.
Oh, I was going to die. So for the next level we want 2 Kongs.
Yeah.
So I think it is still faster to just die and start this boss again.
Number 1 rule of speedrunning, birds are jerks.
This boss is the worst.
Agreed.
And just to rub it in, he's probably going to give us 0 fakes this time. What a jerk.
So we need 2 Kongs in this level for a wrong warp. We're getting the invisible object a slightly different way. We're using a clobber and a chest to get the invisible object.
That's right. There's a few ways to get the invisible barrel. Pretty much always involve either a beetle or a clobber. So this is an example of the team throw double jump, and it works by when you throw your Kong and hit an enemy. When you press jump as they're returning back to you, when they return to you, you will get an additional jump, which we use right there to get into the warp barrel early. So you'll be noticing a lot that we beat pretty much all the bosses with Dixie. And that's because her guitar playing is a lot faster than what Diddy would do if we were ever to beat a boss with him. Which should hopefully never happen. But you never know. We're just cleaning up these last couple of levels in the first 2 worlds before we get on to some serious platforming.
So this is the final developer warp. After this, any other warps here Kipples will be taking will be wrong warps. There's about 3, 4 more? I don't know.
I don't know. It keeps changing on me.
Yeah.
So this boss is called Cleaver. What we want to do is throw a bunch of cannonballs at him. And every time we do, we'll get some hooks to jump on, so we can go and find another cannonball. So normally you're supposed to wait on the left here and do some stuff, but we can just kind of fly across and get this cannonball early. But we do have to make him attack us, otherwise these hooks won't spawn, and then you just can't beat the stage anymore. Well,
No flying diddy.
so we're going to get the Diddy Rap right now. And this is something you definitely do not want in your speedrun, as he likes to go on for just far too long.
So now we're in World 3, and this is where the platforming really begins. We get Ramby here, and we're going to use him through the first half of the stage. It's pretty straightforward, all these jumps. The top barrel, nice.
Yes. Top barrel or reset, even in a marathon.
He's going to dismount Ramby here, because if he takes him through the signpost, the game's going to freeze for about half a second. So here, he teamed through up into the right barrel, and that might look slower, but it stalls a jump, and next time he takes damage, it gives Dixie extra height in her jump, so she can glide across this auto stroller section with the barrel.
Attention please. Emil Edhow. Can you go to the registration desk, please? Emil Edhow, can you go to the platform registration desk?
So this level is deceptively difficult. You might just think it's just some water stage, but you can lose quite a few seconds in this level if you do not do it optimally. You need to not hit any of the walls.
The Super Smash Brother one-on-one final begins in 30 minutes on the player attack stage. That's the Super Smash Brother one-on-one final begins in 30 minutes on the player attack stage.
So sorry if we go quiet every now and then. You might not be able to hear it, but we're getting interrupted by some announcer here at the convention. And apparently Super Smash Brothers is going on right now, so if you're interested, head on over to that.
If you'd like to donate for which Smash character they use, I'm pretty sure it won't work,
very
but you
nice.
should probably donate anyway.
This trick is apparently called the Kipples swap, named after me because I stole it from a Japanese speedrunner.
So Crockett is the first pretty challenging stage of the run. A lot of really tight platforming in this stage. In the second half of the stage, there are Crockets in the water that he's going to be rolling off, and if he does it in the wrong spot, he won't be able to make it to the next platform.
I'm taking no risks today.
Good choice.
All the safety strats.
I've had a few donations come in. We've had Luke, who gave $5. Said, good luck, Cripples, you bloke.
Thank you.
Raiku99. He said read on Station 2, but I'm going to read it anyway. I'm sure they'll read it on Station 2 as well. He says, sending good luck on the run from Perth, as I'm the only speedrunner still here this weekend, rip me. And one from Mike Soul, who says, Saiyans win sagas. Thanks very much for the donations, guys.
So this is Rattle Battle. And this level can be quite simple. It can also be a complete nightmare. So you want to kind of stay on the route that you've practiced. And if you deviate it in any way, that's when things can go very, very wrong.
Bradley's
looks like-
hitbox is not very well programmed.
No, his hitbox doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You can kind of just jump into things and they still count. So we took a hit here, but it's not a big deal. Usually you wouldn't want to, but luckily they put this barrel right here because we do need 2 Kongs for the next stage, which contains a very long sequence of glitches. So first we swap in the water here, and this stores a glitch where when we take a hit we kind of just come up to here. And here we have our friends the Beatles again. And because of the jump earlier that we did, we've despawned the rising water, which allows us to go into this bonus with the wrong warp and beat the stage.
Alright, so this is the first Bramble level. Kipples has got to navigate these barrel mazes. Some of the barrels are already in the right direction that he wants to go, so he has to quickly press B to fire out and get the quick shots. Second half of the stage though has a pretty difficult trick called Vine Clip, where he's going to do a big boy off the clamp on to try and clip through the vine if he gets enough height. First he's going to do a damage boost here so he can take the invincibility frames through the B. I almost forgot about that because I only run 102.
Oh, so we've missed it there, but it's not too bad as there's a nice little backup right here. And honestly, anything is better than having to do the barrel maze right there.
Yeah. The vine clip's pretty difficult. You've only got a handful of pixels in order to throw through the vine.
Yeah. So basically, there's no hitbox in a certain section of those brambles where I attempted to go through. I guess the developers were just lazy that day. Oh, Street Fighter 5 tournament. 25 minutes. Get hype.
Begins in the SAFGC area in 25 minutes.
Should go to that. Screw donkey.
So what we're doing here is we're trying to hit him as soon as he lands and is vulnerable to attack. In order to accomplish this, what we do is we stand right in the middle, and the technique used is to count the breaths Dixie takes when holding a barrel. So for example, I'll count to 2 here, 1, 2, and move forward, and that'll give me the right timing I need to hit him as soon as possible.
Each hit only saves around 1/3 of a second, but they're pretty lenient in the timing, so it's not that risky to go for. But if you mess one up, you lose about 10 to 15 seconds, depending on the cycle.
So moving on to World 4 here, this is probably one of the most intricate and difficult worlds. Despite being comprised mostly of auto-scrollers, it just has some of the most interesting and troubling stages in the run.
Yep. Coming up in this stage is a glitch called the Scrolly Scroll. He's going to get Splitter up here, and when he gets to a hook over on the left-hand side here, he's going to set up his webs in such a way that he can jump onto the hook and then off the hook onto the spider, and that unlocks the camera, and now the game pushes him really fast to the right.
Yes, we have to take damage again to fix the camera so we can complete the level. Here is the first auto-scroller in the game.
Not really a lot to speed up this level, just jumping into the next
No.
part properly. And
The other two auto-scrollers in the game do have some ways to speed them up, but this one there's not much you can really do. Just don't make any mistakes, which is more difficult than you might think.
You're gonna get swag balloon?
What?
You're gonna get swag balloon?
Can't hear.
You're gonna get swag balloon?
What's that?
Oh yes, of course. I'll definitely be collecting the balloon at the end of the stage because, you know, I don't want a game over, which is a real possibility.
The run wouldn't be valid anyway.
Not bad.
So the next stage is the one I'm quite worried about. Contains a very involved glitch. It's another variation on the wrong warp, but it's very technical and very complicated to get right. So
I didn't see any swag balloon there. I didn't see any swag balloon there.
Oh, whoops. I did not get the swag balloon. This
Rip
isn't
run.
a speed run anymore. I'm sorry, folks.
So he's gonna clash this beetle on the vines over here. And now he's going to go to the right in such a way that he loads the bonus ID into his invisible object. And that warps him out of the stage. It's one of the hardest wrong warps to learn.
Yes, it's very difficult to learn. Here comes another announcement, folks.
Yep.
The Mario Kart 8 tournament begins in 20 minutes in the tournament hall. That's the Mario Kart 8 tournament begins in 20 minutes in the tournament hall.
Mario Kart 8, everyone's favorite.
Another little announcement too. We had a very generous $52.50 donation from Checker Chairs. He wanted this read on station 2, but I think we're reading them all on both stations anyway. He just says, "Wish I could be there, but happy to donate to such a personal cause. Good luck." Donation goes to Runner's Choice.
Some of these guys in this stage control you if you come up behind them in the wrong spot. But that was a pretty clean stage. So the next level is arguably top 3 hardest in the game. It's up there. It's up there anyway.
It is awful.
Yeah.
It is the worst.
Oh.
I bet those out there in the know got a kick out of that.
So yeah, Kipples is going to be doing a lot of really tight rolls on this stage. As you just saw there, he rolled into the water. The death plane in this stage is quite a way below the platform, so he's able to do this and not die. But this second eagle pit here is really difficult to get through cleanly. But he got through it. But the platforming isn't the only hard part, because this level has a wrong warp in the second half of the stage. That's very, very finicky. It's a very specific setup to it.
Yeah, no worries. I was about to plug donations if you want to do that or...
Wow. All right, so I missed the beetle clash right there. So no invisible barrel for me, and now I'll have to trundle my way through the rest of the stage.
Luckily, this is one of the Wrong Wolfster doesn't save too much time compared to the other ones, so it's not a huge loss at the end of the day.
I'm just about to finish my setup on the hosting station, but I'll just plug the donation incentives we've got coming up again real quick. We've got the extra stage in Toho 10, Lego Star Wars, you get to choose which runner gets replaced by a guest, and character selection in Mario Kart 8, they're all coming up, so if you want to see any of that, donate and...
Oh, very nice.
Sorry, I thought someone was talking to me. Yeah, but thanks for donating, and I'll catch you all again later.
So this stage had a section out to the right that Kipples skipped by doing a team throw super jump onto a hook, and yeah, the second half of the stage is just rampy jumps.
The developers really didn't expect us to find a way to jump really high, but once you do, you can skip a lot of levels.
Yeah. So, World 4 boss, you get to play as Squawks in this boss. Just got to hit the stinger of this being a couple times. There's about 4 phases to this fight. Well, 2 phases really, but 4 different cycles. Get through the first 2 pretty cleanly. After 2 hits, he starts shooting these stingers, but after the 3rd time you do the 2 hits, he will transform into a smaller bee with other small bees surrounding him, and you got to kill the other 4 small bees before you can finish the fight.
Ooh.
That's the Caitlin glass panel is being held in the main hall in 15 minutes.
See you later, boys. I'm going to the Caitlin Glass in the main hall in 15 minutes. So I lost the Kong there at the end of the boss there, and this really affects your time on this world, as you have to pick up the DK barrel and swap to Diddy. But it's not too big of a deal, but it definitely can add up if you're trying to improve your time.
So the next level is an auto-scroller, but unlike the other ones, this one has a bit more tech to it. Kipples is going to be jumping up slopes and down slopes, as well as jumping into these doors as high as possible, and this all saves frames. It's pretty significant over the course of the level. It saves around like 2 or 3 seconds or something, I don't know. But there is a pretty big difference between a runner who doesn't do this and a runner who does.
So this level's unofficial name is Tupac's Library, and this is Tupac, and he's trying to give us a mixtape, but we don't want any of it.
Coming up is the only difference, well, Kipples just passed it, the only difference between the Japanese and the US version for this category. There is one more B in the US version, in that little above section. There are a couple other differences as well, but none of them come to factor in this category.
Yep. It's the reason I'm playing on the Japanese version. The US version is too difficult because of that extra B.
Agreed. That B's impossible to jump over. It's impossible.
It's slightly higher than every other B in the stage, and it just makes it that much more difficult. This level has has wind physics that'll kind of push us around. But otherwise, it's a very pleasant, easygoing platforming stage. Right before we go through the gauntlet, the last 3 levels in this world.
So Kipples teamed through under the barrel there to advance the wind cycle, so we could just shoot out the barrel straight away. And this is one of the most appealing stages in the entire speedrun, Parachute Panic. The game gives you these purple parrots, but they're really slow, so Kipples just memorize the level and will drop down from the top just using Dixie's flutter. Oh, no headbutt.
Oh. Literally impossible.
Agreed.
So what happened there was what's supposed to happen is you're supposed to get in. Oh, whatever. I guess I'll explain it when it happens.
Basically, whenever a Kong takes damage, they jump into the air, and if you take damage in a certain spot, he bounces into the ceiling instead like that, and you can take the invincibility frames further down the shaft and just skip that entire section much more easily. So now onto Web Woods, one of the most difficult stages in the game. He's going to be getting Squidder the Spider, or Shoes the Spider I should say. He's going to be making a lot of instant platforms where he'll be pressing L and R basically at the same time.
Starting 5 minutes in the tournament hall. Open tournaments starting 5 minutes in the tournament hall.
Sorry, another announcement. Pokken tournament this time.
Pokken tournaments.
So yeah, he's going to be making these instant platforms for pressing L and R at the same time while jumping. But most of these are over pits, and he's also going to be doing damage boosts as well while making these instant platforms. So it's a very easy stage to die on.
Nice. So we got through that level very cleanly.
Yeah.
No real mistakes to speak of. Now we can relax and just beat the rest of the game.
Yeah, Crow's back from the dead in this boss, and he brings back his RNG as well. When he bounces on the alive eagle, a barrel will spawn, and it can either spawn on the right, the middle, or the left. And you don't want left spawns, it loses a lot of time, particularly in the second phase coming up right now. Left spawn loses a lot of time here. Oh,
There goes my world record. So we swap here because we want to be Dixie for the next stage. And the reason we swap here is, again, the guitar is a lot faster than the rap. So it's just a little time save there. I don't think this is anyone's favorite level. Vanguard is just not very good. He's very difficult to control, and it can be very deceptive as to whether or not you will actually kill something with him or not.
luckily the game gives you a lot of DK barrels in this level. I guess the developers knew that it's very easy to die with the fish.
They realized their mistake. They buffed him quite considerably for the later game.
Yeah.
DKC 3.
So on to Windy Well. This level is pretty much an auto scroller. Your speed is pretty much predetermined by the wind. There are a couple of skips you can do to save a bit of time, but for the most part, it's just going to be more of this. So the first major skip is coming up here, saves like 5 seconds, just going to damage boost on the speed to get onto the next platform, and that saves him from going out to the right and back to the left. Oh, that was pretty close.
So I really want to keep both my Kongs for the next stage. If I lose a Kong, I have to go and get one, and that'll cost me easily like 20 seconds. So taking my time there on those 3 Bs was definitely worth it.
Yeah, time for Castle Crush, and this is probably the most infamous glitch in the any % speedrun, or the DKC2 speedruns in general. This is a 5-minute auto-scroller, or 4.5 minutes. Luckily, we can skip about 3 minutes of it by using this barrel. Kipples is going to take it up to a certain point, then drop it into the wall and get an invisible object, and then he's immediately going to take damage. And the top of the stage is going to come down to him.
We didn't like how this level was designed, so we thought it would be better if we could just put the end about in the middle somewhere. We did a bit of remodeling.
Much better this way.
Oh.
If he loses his barrel, takes a hit, the glitch is over. And he would have to die. I think it's still faster to die and try again.
I don't know how to beat this stage normally, so I would
Neither.
die in any circumstance. So this is quite a cute level before we got more dumb stuff. So we got our friend Clapper. He turns the water into ice to protect us from this nasty fish down here. You want to swap to Diddy underwater here because it keeps the game simulation running while we're swapping. As if we did it on land, it would pause and that spiny wouldn't move, and we would have to wait for him to turn around before we could roll through him. So what you just saw right there was a trick called Throw Your Girlfriend. You throw Dixie straight out to collect the invincibility barrel, and that lets you more easily get through this whole section while rolling through everything.
On to Chain Link Chamber, the final wrong warp of the game. This one is also very particular in how you have to set it up. It's very easy to fail this wrong warp if you don't do everything exactly the way it's meant to go. So he has to kill that clobber. Now he's going to drop down and bait out this one. And now he has to wait for the cannon on the right to load, and he can just spawn the cannon where he is.
A lot of stuff happens in a very short period of time.
Yeah, it's very hard to explain that one. So Toxic Tower, we get to see Ratley again, and we get to actually see why he's pretty good in the speedrun. You can glitch out these double jumps with him. We call them short hops, or the one he just did to get into the barrel was a true double jump. The short hops are pretty easy to do. All you're doing is holding A and then tapping B really fast. The true double jumps are a bit harder to time because it's based on you have to press A and B together as Ratley's falling. But you get extra height from that.
So if Ratley wasn't enough, now we have to be Squawks and go as fast as we possibly can through all these bees. Luckily we got through there alright. And then they just kind of put Squitter in the end here. I guess to remind them that, yes, he's still in the game.
So no boss fight in this world, we go straight on to World 7. We don't get to save Donkey yet though.
So this is the final level before the final boss. It's another Squawks level. And you're supposed to race Screech, who is some other kind of bird. But hopefully we can just completely avoid the race. And the reason we want to do this is it skips the countdown, which if you do get the countdown, wastes 3 seconds.
So you just skip the race by going over the top of Screech. You can also take damage and do it, and it's a little bit easier that way, but damageless is definitely preferred. Because the rest of the stage is pretty difficult. It's very easy to take a hit, as Kipples just did. A lot of tight corridors to go through.
So here we are, we're finally at the final boss. All we have to do here is throw cannonballs into his gun to jam it up. So we go through a bunch of phases where he kind of shoots things at us and runs at us. And we just kind of have to stay out of the way until we get the opportunity to throw a cannonball at him. The only real speed strat you can do here is to throw the cannonball as soon as possible so you can get it into his gun the second he will accept it.
Taking a hit there isn't that bad. The boss fight gives you 3 DK barrels, one right at the start, and then 2 more after the first and second phase. So taking a hit isn't a huge deal in this boss. The chat's crying out for Blue Diddy.
Blue Diddy? Well, alright. If the chat insists. There you go. That's Blue Diddy.
So just a couple more hits to go. Next phase is the purple smokes, and if he gets hit by them, his controls are reversed.
Well, chat wanted Blue Diddy, so I think I'll keep him blue.
Good idea.
Very easy to do with Dixie, very difficult to do with Diddy.
Now K-Rool's going to try and suck you into his cannon. It's a little bit harder to escape it as Dixie. You have to bait K-Rool a little bit more to the right. Otherwise, he'll most likely hit her. Diddy is a bit more easier to escape it though.
And time.
That's done.
Yeah. I think that run went well. So yeah. So I think coming up next we have DKC3 any percent with Just Your Average Day right here. I think we'll have a change of consoles, so we'll be getting underway in just a couple of minutes. I'd just like to thank the announcer for letting us know about all these wonderful tournaments coming up. And yeah. So I'll see you all later. Goodbye.